the Rahul Gandhi phenomena. Is he a liability for the Congress party? His rallies failed to click. There was no response. He got scared away in Delhi, didn't come back after that one rally when people started walking away and Sheila Dikshit had to rush to the podium. Can he at all take the blame for what's happened in these assembly elections, or is he not to blame because he wasn't the chief ministerial candidate and it's the anti-incumbency against the central government that seems to have been the undoing of the Congress? We will discuss all of that with a very high-powered panel in just a moment from now. Before that, I want you to take a look at some very disconcerting figures from a Congress perspective. This is Rahul Gandhi's strike rate in Delhi. Now, take a very quick look at this. 20 seats he campaigned for in Delhi. Out of these 20, the BJP won 12, the Aam Aadmi Party won 5, the Congress won just 2. A loss of 9. Rahul's strike rate in Delhi is an abysmal 10% only. I now want to take you through the next state. Let's take Rajasthan. In Rajasthan as well, Rahul Gandhi's strike rate is not much to write home about. He campaigned extensively across Rajasthan, and in Rajasthan, his strike rate at the end of the day is only 10.9%. 6 candidates have won, 20 of them where Rahul Gandhi campaigned have lost. The BJP won 46 of those seats. It's not just Rajasthan. Also move across to Madhya Pradesh. In Madhya Pradesh as well, I'm going to put out the figures for Rahul Gandhi's campaign. In Rajasthan, his strike rate again very abysmal, 35%. Better than in Delhi and in Rajasthan, but not very significant, 35%. In Chhattisgarh, of course, Rahul Gandhi's strike rate is better, but that's also because the Congress as a party overall is doing well. Here is Rahul Gandhi's strike rate in Chhattisgarh. Remember, the Congress managed to make it quite close in Chhattisgarh. Unlike in the other states, in Chhattisgarh, Rahul Gandhi's strike rate is 61.54. Is there a Modi wave? Can the Aam Aadmi Party win India next? Can Congress recover after this defeat? Those are some of the important questions that are being asked. But the one other question that needs to be asked as we build up to 2014 is, can Rahul Gandhi successfully lead the Congress party into the general elections? Can he hold his flock together? Or after this debacle, will questions now be raised about whether Rahul simply isn't good enough as a politician to be able to lead the party?
This was the last time he was seen before the results rolled in. Smiling, confident, in charge. And this was him after the 4-0 drubbing of his party in semi-final 2013.
इन इलेक्शंस के माध्यम से जनता ने हमें एक मैसेज दिया है और उस मैसेज को मैंने और कांग्रेस पार्टी ने सिर्फ दिमाग से नहीं मगर दिल से सुना है.
But the party that looked to Rahul to rescue them from impending electoral defeat is now busy insulating him from the spectacular political failure.
Congress spokesmen were from today morning saying for everything, when Chhattisgarh was neck to neck, they were saying that Modi has to take blame. Then now who will take blame for this Congress miserable show? We need answer.
It has got nothing to do with Rahul ji because Rahul ji was not in charge of any particular state.
And this is what they must defend, a dismal strike rate of their star campaigner in all battleground states.
This is Rahul Gandhi's strike rate for the rallies that he did. In the areas where he campaigned, 9 of those candidates lost, only 2 won. His strike rate only 10%. Let's now take you through Rahul Gandhi's strike rate in Rajasthan. Again, if you look at the figures, very little to write home about. Rahul Gandhi's candidates in Rajasthan picking up only 7 seats. That gives Rahul Gandhi a strike rate of 12.73, just 2.73 better than the strike rate in Delhi, but not good at all from the perspective of Rahul Gandhi being a big vote catcher for the Congress party. We've seen Delhi, we've seen Rajasthan. Let's now come to Madhya Pradesh. In Madhya Pradesh as well, if you look at Rahul Gandhi's strike rate, you will see nothing at all to write home about. Only 11 of the candidates that Rahul Gandhi campaigned for won. The strike rate, though, is 45%, which is a lot better than the figures we've seen for Delhi and for Rajasthan. Let's take you through the final state, the state of Chhattisgarh, and let's see how Rahul Gandhi's campaigns and his rallies actually translated into seats for his candidates. In Chhattisgarh, Rahul Gandhi's candidates in the areas where he campaigned won 5 seats. He has a strike rate of 61.5, or a lot better.
Semi-final 2013 was the first election the Congress virtually fought under Rahul's command. Rahul Gandhi was the star campaigner of the Congress party. He and his team personally selected election managers across all states. It was Team Rahul which took decisive calls on ticket distribution, with Sonia-led Central Election Committee merely endorsing the choice.
But clearly Rahul failed to press the right buttons in this high-stakes game. Yes, there were sincere-sounding speeches.
मेरी दादी को मारा, मेरे पापा को मारा, और शायद मुझे भी मार देंगे एक दिन. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता मुझे.
But the voters seemed to be in no mood for the sacrifice narrative. There was the well-thought-out plain speak.
दलित कम्युनिटी को इस धरती पे जुपिटर की एस्केप वेलोसिटी की जरूरत होती है कि आपको बहुत ज्यादा तेज धक्का मारना पड़ता है.
Even the gimmickry found few takers.
I'll tell you what my opinion on the ordinance is. My opinion on the ordinance is that it's complete nonsense and that it should be torn up and thrown out.
Result? On D-Day, the Rahul factor was mocked even in the virtual world. Several humorists, comics, satirists have, taken to Twitter as usual, as expected, to poke fun at Rahul Gandhi. There couldn't be a better opportunity than this. So I've actually pulled out some of the funniest ones that we've found today. Madhu Menon says, how can you call Rahul Gandhi responsible for this defeat? He didn't actually do anything. Gapistan Radio, very popular Twitter handle, says, Rahul Gandhi is a wave or a particle. They're poking fun at the media lexicon as well. There is a Rahul Gandhi wave. Rahul Gandhi is under it, says the very popular faking news satire website. The Congress has a task at hand. For the firewall around Rahul to seem convincing, it must have a fall guy. It can blame it all on Manmohan Singh. It can take shelter behind local factors or contemplate launching Priyanka to prop up the dynasty brand. Or just like other times, order a probe to paper over Rahul's failure. Bureau Report, headlines today.
Is Rahul at all to take the blame for what's happened to the Congress across these 4 states? Sachin Pilot now joining us on this broadcast, a key member of Team Rahul. With us also at this time, Rajiv Pratap Rudy from the BJP. But I first want to go across to Shazia Ilmi, who lost with the narrowest of margins in RK Puram. Heartbreaking defeat this. 380 odd votes, Shazia. So close. It's so nice to see you smile, even at the end of a very long...
No, less than that.
Excruciating day. It's lovely to see you smile, Shazia. What do you think went wrong? We'll come to the larger issues later.
No, only 324 votes.
What do you think went wrong? Do you think that one CD which came out muddied the waters for you and just took some of the crucial votes away at the last moment?
Yes.
But nonetheless, you put up a great fight.
It could be anything.
Your party is done really well, so don't take this to heart at all.
And I won. Yes, absolutely. And I was... No, not at all. Not at all. A fight has just begun and we are raring to go. And this mine was a very narrow defeat. But forget about that. Look at all the seats that we've won. And when I went back to office, I was so delighted to see the fantastic response Delhiites have given to Aam Aadmi Party candidates. So we are enthused by it, enthralled, and we really feel we have a long way to go.
Given how much of an effort was made to write the Aam Aadmi Party off, this is real vindication of the power of the people. Just a dream taking shape in the way that it did to now manifest itself with such huge numbers. Do you think that this is a resounding slap for the political establishment, that people are telling them that they neither like the Congress nor the BJP in the way that they've been operating, Shazia?
Absolutely. What we see today is a complete political vacuum. There was felt a need for responsible leadership, and which is a space that Aam Aadmi Party filled in. If you look at 90% of Aam Aadmi Party candidates, they all are first-timers, non-political, activist kind of people. And so the regular folk, common folks, they've gone out there and to claim what is theirs. And they want good governance. They want real issues. They want to say no to vote bank politics. They want to talk about decentralization of funds. They want to talk about roads, sanitation, water. I think it's fantastic. This is a dance of democracy, and I think this is a giant leap for democracy in India. It's not a small victory at all. It's
okay, I want to go across to
Also,
Sachin
another
Pilot
thing
because several Congress leaders, Sachin, have dismissed the Aam Aadmi Party and said that it'll turn out to be a damn squib. Do you think all that cynicism has been thrown out of the window with today's verdict that several people in the polity of India have been shown to be living in a cocoon, disconnected with what people on the street wanted? The Aam Aadmi Party is not just a media phenomena, but the second biggest party in one of the most crucial states, a very politically sensitive state like Delhi.
Absolutely. I think what the Aam Aadmi Party has done and shown is truly phenomenal. I think I'd be lying if I said that it was anything less. And I give them full credit for, in a short period of time, to become a political strength and come out so strong. Their performance, I think, is better than any pollster had predicted. So I congratulate them.
No, but forget the pollsters. As a political animal yourself, Sachin, how is it that all of you together completely failed to see this massive undercurrent? It's not just undercurrent. In the end, it turned out to be a tsunami for a new party. They were given no chance. How is it that as political people who are supposed to meet common citizens, Aam Aadmis, every day, you fail to realize the level of anger against the Congress party, not just in Delhi, but also in Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh? This is a 4-0 drubbing for your party, Sachin.
Absolutely, Rahul, and I think we need to do a lot of introspection, and we have fared very, very badly, and especially in Delhi and Rajasthan. These two states, tell us something. I think it's a little wrong to say that you're disconnected. The fact that we have put our best foot forward, it wasn't good enough. We didn't match up to the expectations people had. In Delhi, especially more so, because I think 15 years, Mrs. Dixit had done a good job. I think she still has, she needs to be credited for that. But she's lost today, and we all are as humble as we can be in our defeat. But the fact that you're pointing out the thing that we are not able to see the anger or the mood against the ruling dispensation, it's tough to retain after 15 years the same state, and like I said, this is something beyond expectations. One expected them to do some movement forward politically, but this is beyond expectations, and that's why I've gone out and congratulated them.
Okay, you're congratulating them, but questions are also being asked about Rahul Gandhi, Sachin. Questions are being asked about his ineffective leadership style, his inability to communicate, his ability to strike a rapport like Arvind Kejriwal has been able to, like Modi is succeeding in doing across the country. Questions are being asked whether you have the right general to lead you into the next election, Sachin.
I think we have chosen our general. The Congress party has a president and a vice president who have been duly elected unanimously. And don't forget, Mr. Gandhi, under his leadership as vice president, we have won Karnataka, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, many other states. Assam we won for the 3rd time. So you win elections and you lose elections. But I think Mr. Gandhi himself and Mrs. Gandhi have said that through this 4 assembly election results, the people of India have told us something, and we will not only hear on it, but we'll act on it, and we will do whatever needs to be done to fix our policies, strategies, programs, and our leadership structures.
Mr. Rudy, do you think Rahul Gandhi needs to take any part of the blame for what's happened to the Congress across the country? Because Congress leaders are arguing that the elections were fought on local issues, and Rahul wasn't even the chief ministerial candidate anywhere. Therefore, you can't blame Rahul for what has happened, Mr. Rudy.
Well, we cannot blame, we can blame no one in the Congress party. There is nothing very specific to be blamed about whether, but the fact remains that the larger picture which emerges is that the countdown for the Congress party has begun as far as the next Lok Sabha elections are concerned. And the writings are very, and I'm very happy that Sachin, as a friend also, he has admitted there is a lot of introspection. It's a fact, Congress did not perform well. And of course, the space which was taken away by the Aam Aadmi Party is a space which should have actually gone to the BJP because there was an anger against the Congress party. We failed to harness that space or take away that space, and that possibly is also a big question which the BJP has to answer. And I think that can only be settled, and whether it can be the next Lok Sabha elections. But the larger picture, yes, Congress is out in these 4 states. Some of the states where the anti-incumbency factor should have affected the BJP did not. That was in Madhya Pradesh, and for that matter to a very great extent in Chhattisgarh. As far as states ruled by the Congress party, Delhi and Rajasthan, they have been routed, and that is one indication that there is something against the Congress party which is brewing across the country. So
is this Sachin reflective of a much larger anger against the UPA, as Rajiv Rudi says, that this really is the first indication of what might happen to the Congress in the general elections of 2014?
I think it's a little premature to write anybody off 6 months before the general elections are conducted. It's certainly something that needs our fullest attention. But I just like to sum it, in the 4 states that my good friend Mr. Rudi pointed out. If Mr. Modi's effect that you talked about was so substantial, then the BJP would have swept Delhi and Chhattisgarh, which didn't happen. So, each of these state leaderships has Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan to be given full credit for, making the BJP win in Madhya Pradesh, and Vasundhara Raje for Rajasthan. How much of it is a Modi effect? How much of it is an anti-Congress situation? I think it differs from state to state. India is a very large country, so in general elections, people tend to vote with a whole different set of issues in mind, as opposed to what they've done in the assembly elections. But again, the jury is still out, and we have to wait 6 months to see what the people have to say.
Shazia, do you think today's mandate is reflective of a larger anti-Congress wave? Because in Chhattisgarh the elections were very close. In Delhi you were a factor. So this pan-India Modi wave, which BJP would like people watching this broadcast to believe exists, is really under question. Yes, they've done really well. Yes, they're the leading party. But if there was a big Modi wave, then it would have been the BJP winning with 45-50 seats in Delhi, Shazia.
Well, absolutely. If Modi wave was so prominent, we didn't see it at all in Delhi. So I think all across, if you look at, people are looking for choices. People are looking for answers. People are angry. They're looking for the stronger and better alternative. They found that in Aam Aadmi Party in Delhi. Similarly, if Aam Aadmi Party and the kind of politics that we stand for were to spread out, this new political energy, the politics of transformation that we stand for, if it were to spread out and go to different states, people will respond with the same warmth and gusto and eagerness that they have in New Delhi, in all of Delhi. So I think it's important for political class to recognize that there is seething anger, there is apathy, there is cynicism, but there's a crying need for change, for political leaders to address issues that concern people. Somewhere they feel connected with our political messaging has worked. Despite all the writing off done by political parties and even pollsters, people went there and voted, and with so much affection, with so much hope. So I really think there is space, there is a vacuum when it comes to real leadership. And somewhere regular people have gone out there and given themselves this opportunity to engage with politics.
Okay, Surjit Balla has a question. I want to take some questions from our panelists. Surjit Balla goes first.
By any candidate to get a ticket.
I have a question actually which anybody can answer and can address, and this has to do with the important question that Rahul is attempting to answer, and what we're trying to see in the elections is there a Modi wave? Can you identify a Modi wave, or can you reject, as you have done, the possibility that there was a Modi wave? I want to give, and the only way to do it is by, if you will, two approaches. One is a qualitative approach about whether there's a Modi wave, and that says that, listen, the agenda for debate in this country has been set by Modi. Basically everybody responds, whether it is on Kashmir or it is on performance or it is on economic performance, everybody responds to what Modi is saying. So I think in that sense, maybe not a wave, but certainly he's setting the agenda. Analytically now, on the possibility of wave, what you have, and congratulations to you and the Aam Aadmi Party for reducing the Congress to the lowest ever seats ever in Delhi. The lowest ever prior to today was 10 seats, and now I think they'll get 8, which is a fantastic performance. Now we have in Rajasthan, which is 3 times the size of Delhi, basically the Congress has been reduced to half its lowest ever. The lowest ever seats that Congress ever got in history since independence was 41 seats, and they've been reduced to something like 20 seats. If you now look at Madhya Pradesh, basically on a very, very solid wicket, they have Chauhan has expanded his seats by 10. So if I look at and Chhattisgarh, we know there were problems, but still 10 seats is quite a performance. So if I just look at the numbers and outside of Delhi, and in Delhi, mind you, you did it through a 3-party system, and it's easier to bring Congress down to its knees in a 3-party system than it is in a 2-party system as in Rajasthan. I don't know whether there's a Modi way, but these, I would like somebody to address what is a possibility
but the Congress is coming down to historic lows. Let Sachin Pilot try and make sense of that and try and explain that to us, please.
Well, like I said, I think what Sujit Bhalla says is true, and it's very disappointing that the Congress party's performance, one thing is to lose and the other thing is to get wiped out like the way that we have been. It's something that bothers us a great deal. But like I said, how much of that would you attribute to the performance of the state leadership in BJP, or is it all about the rallies that Mr. Modi conducted? Because he went and had rallies also in Karnataka, also in Chhattisgarh, didn't have the same kind of effect. So there are certain state dynamics that come into play. Will they hold up for next 6 months at a national level? I'm not too sure about that. But yes, every party brings out its best foot forward, and Mr. Modi campaigned across all the 4 states, and so did Mr. Gandhi and Mrs. Gandhi. And we lost fair and square, and I think I must accept that with all humility.
Can I jump in?
Yes, just 1 second. Sadanand wants to ask the next question.
My question is also for Sachin Pilot. Sachin, my question is really about the future of the Congress party. And there's this sort of, there are 2 views on what kind of party it's going to be, or at least in the conventional media narrative. One is there's this sort of traditional idea of a party where a lot of things are decided in back rooms through and relationships really matter and so on. And then this new idea, the Rahul Gandhi idea. And when he was speaking at that press conference, I was struck by 3 words he used: processes, systems, and structures. Now, if this works out for you and this new technocratic, process-driven idea works, then perhaps the Congress could succeed dramatically and be on a very firm footing. But what we're seeing so far, at least today, is that that system doesn't seem to be working. Do you have concerns that the amount of time it may take for your party to evolve from one kind of party to another kind of party may not be the amount of time you have in real political and electoral terms?
Well, there are 2 things. One is a metamorphosis, the other is evolution of a party, and to bring about a new set of thinking. You can mandate a process, but how much of it gets inculcated and then actually delivered on the ground is a different thing. It takes a long time for a party as old and as large as the Congress to effect that change so quickly. Last 2 or 3 years, Mr. Gandhi has been working on it. We've had some success, but I'll be wrong to say that we've succeeded in completely transforming our decision-making process and the way that the party cadres function and our organization conducts itself. So it's a work in progress. Again, it's a challenge for us to have done all of that before the next 5 or 6 months. But I think that's what our objective is, to be able to be an organization that is responsive, that is dynamic, that is sensitive to the needs and aspirations of not just the workers of our party, but also of the common electorate. And we need to get that sooner rather than later.
Do you worry about falling between
on the wall that we've all seen?
Do you worry about falling between 2 stools?
Well, I like to say that we have to be careful. I think that process has started.
Nalini has the next question. Just one by one.
We have to be mindful of the gaps on the way.
Yeah, Rahul, one is an observation to you. We are talking about the effect of rallies. Now, you know that many of these are on television. So those people, for instance, who have watched Modi's rally in Patna might have got affected in Delhi. So I think that this seepage or leakage of one medium to another is something that we have to factor in. But my question is actually to Mr. Rudy. Did I get you wrong when you said that we will discuss what happened in Delhi as the next Lok Sabha election comes closer? If that is what you are saying, why aren't you going to discuss it tomorrow morning? you are actually, this is spectacular.
I positioned it wrong, I think. And what has happened in Delhi deserves introspection in the BJP. And
More than, I think...
Because I very strongly feel that this space should have actually not gone to the Aam Aadmi Party, which it has gone. So the issues which the Aam Aadmi Party took up possibly was what was agitating the state, what was agitating the people, and does reflect the mind of the people across the country, what people are thinking. So possibly we missed on that point, and I think, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rudy,
yes,
are you therefore shielding some of your own top leaders? Because is it a fact that, that today, I'm sure that you are also a little bit disturbed, one whole state is slipping away from your fingers because of something that has happened.
We cannot be
I'll just finish this in a second. Is there a larger pattern which we should be able to discern in what is happening within the BJP? And therefore, my question is, are you shielding some leaders? Why are you not talking about it?
Nalli ma'am, you have raised a very big question. It is just not for the BJP. It is true for the Congress party also. And these two national parties which are getting decimated. Of course, Congress has decimated from an all India positioning to several states which it does not exist, and the BJP, which is trying to emerge, is getting constrained by such actions which are taking place as the emergence of an Aam Aadmi Party. This is a matter of concern for both the national parties, and the way as times are passing, the regional parties are setting the national agenda. In a long run, it is not very good for the nation. So that is what we want to say is the next Lok Sabha elections, the battle should be drawn between the BJP and the Congress in the national interest. I do not know how strongly would the Congress be there as it stands decimated. BJP, of course, was trying to put its best foot forward so that at the national level, BJP emerges as the largest party. To proceed in a direction, we have a national mandate and a consensus for many issues. Now, this is another question which I'm not getting into it, because this also raises a lot of question on the present form of functioning of the governments, and also the system of governance and the system of democracy which we have called the Westminster Parliamentary form of government.
Tavleen Singh has a question,
undergoing a test in last 65 years.
Take a break.
We are undergoing a test on it on last 65 years. We have seen it. So I will not like to get into that. My submission here is it's a challenge for the BJP, and the people are looking up at the BJP as a national opposition party to create a larger space with the leadership of Narendra Modi in next 100 days, and that is what we are struggling. Before I end my conversation, Shazia has lost, but I am very happy. She is looking very bright, and she has adorned a dress which reflects the BJP. She is in a saffron and a green and looking very nice, so I must compliment her for that.
Shazia must respond. I'm sure she doesn't want to let that go.
I think there is an endorsement. I understand.
I would not allow. I'm sorry, but I would not allow either the Congress or BJP usurp the beautiful colors like saffron and green. I think all colors are for everybody, and I would not want any one party
I'm not saying that. I'm not
claim monopoly or a particular
you look
color.
like wearing a BJP flag, and I'm very happy. You are wearing a BJP flag, and I'm very happy about it.
They've just stopped your government from coming to power. I'm not quite sure, Rajiv Rudy, what you're happy about. You're stuck at 32, unable to form a government. Kejriwal, the big hero of the day, and you're very happy with Shazia's clothes. Anyway, Tavleen Singh has a question she wants to ask. Go ahead, Tavleen.
My question is for Sachin, and it's actually a variation of Sadanand's question. And the question that I want to ask you is that there are stories in Delhi's political circles that in fact Rahul Gandhi is relying too much on processes and technology, and that he's quite inaccessible, and that even the people within your party who want to see him, ordinary workers don't get to see him at all, but that even senior people, if they want to see him, have to make an application on the internet to get an appointment. So what I'm really asking you is this true? And if Rahul is going to change his methods, should he not be actually, reducing it to less processes and getting more close to the reality of politics, like going out and meeting people like you, going out and meeting people really, instead of doing this instead of using technology to actually stay away from them.
That is that you cannot be more wrong, Tavleen ji, because I don't know where you get your information about as to who he meets and how he meets. I think he's a people's person, not only. But then you please tell me which gentleman or lady is the one who gave you that information.
You think I would do that?
And my colleagues and our workers as often as offer. Well, then let me say my piece, because I think he's a people's person. And one thing that Mr. Gandhi has done actually is traveled. Not he not does it sitting in Delhi and meeting people in his office, but traveling to various parts of the country and interacting with all and sundry. And the minute you open up yourself for interaction and conversation, you're actually creating a bridge between people, and that's the job of a politician.
But Sachin,
and I think as Congress's vice
you're giving a very
president, he has done
diplomatic
it
answer.
so much in the last few years.
For Rahul to succeed,
No, it's not Rahul,
frankly, as a dispassionate political observer, for Rahul to succeed, he needs to do more of what Sachin Pilot and Jyotiraditya Scindia do. He needs to be more approachable, he needs to be less arrogant, he needs to be more accessible for people to that there is something that he does, something that he stands for, which makes people trust them. You've built a certain body of work in the
Rahul,
work that you do in the ministry. Jyotiraditya Scindia has done the same. Rahul simply has been unable to get people to repose their faith in him, to inspire their confidence, which is a must as a politician, Sachin.
Rahul, I think you're passing sweeping judgments. It's not proper to do that, because today is a day where we have not done very well as a political party. So it sounds probably out of place for me to say the things I'm going to say, but I'm forced to say it now. My job and my description is a member of parliament, as a minister in the government of India. But the Congress party, it is the largest organization. For it to run, function, for him to organize, interact and do the things that he has to do, to strategize and do n number of things. I think and the way that as a political personality you're able to transcend and not be limited to one region or one area or one department, that's what he's been able to do. And yes,
but he hasn't been able to emerge as a leader.
Please,
when he spoke in Delhi, people started going away. Sheila Dikshit had to go to the podium, literally fold her hands and request them to stay back. If people were really keen on listening to him, that would be happening.
Have you broadcasted?
Sachin, don't you think
Rahul, have you seen or broadcasted the other 400 meetings he's done all over India, including the one in my area and Rajasthan and other parts of India? I mean, the response has been tremendous. One meeting can't be the be-all end-all of a political person, but I think it's wrong for you, anybody else, to write off individuals or parties, so early in the game.
The response. So
Tabligh as a counter for you, Sachin.
Sachin, one of the reasons for the emergence of Narendra Modi as this big figure on the national scene is believed to be the absence of leadership at the top in India. And do you think that this has been a factor in the rise of Narendra Modi? And don't you think that if your leaders met even just journalists more often, just had some communication, the Prime Minister sees nobody, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi sees nobody, Rahul Gandhi very rarely speaks to the people, the media is his link to the people, and we don't get to speak to him. The people certainly don't.
Well, I think as far as Mr. Modi is concerned, I don't remember the last time he opened himself for a press conference. He makes speeches, he gives monologues, but he's never been open for cross-questioning like most of our leadership has done. And everything he does is very choreographed. I mean, but leaving that aside, as far as Mr. Gandhi, Mrs. Gandhi or Dr. Manmohan Singh, for the last 9 or 10 years, I think they've spoken out on more than enough occasions in their campaigns, in their travels, in meeting with people, not just political but non-political. I think it's wrong, again, to generalize what you may feel personally, but to my mind, the party is always open. We have more discussions and meetings than any other political party. And I can also tell you, within the Congress, there is so much more that we have latitude for, the elbow room to discuss and deliberate and put our points across. And again, after this loss in these 3 or 4 states, we feel incumbent upon ourselves to really sit down together as a political party and not about 1 or 2 people, or how we need to reinvent ourselves in quick time so that, next 5 or 6 months, we're able to, win the people's trust all over again.
Okay, Sadanand has a question again.
Sachin, so instead of putting you on the spot with with our theories, which clearly you don't agree with, let me just ask you a straightforward question. To what do you ascribe your party's performance in Rajasthan?
To my mind, I think the government did a fair job, but somehow it did not get traction with the electorate. And my worry is that not only did we lose, we lost pretty badly. And we really have to sit down together, not me individually, but all of us, to figure out what it is that went wrong, and so dramatically wrong. It's
What's
okay
your
to
best
lose,
guess?
but the numbers that are coming forward, today is not the place for me to make those guesses. I think we need to get feedback from our candidates, from our workers, and really then understand what exactly went wrong, because we need to correct that. It's okay to have lost an election, but we can't afford to lose the morale of our workers. And I think everybody worked with their heart and soul. I campaigned, everybody else campaigned. So I don't want to blame 1 or 2 people or 5 people. It's collectively our responsibility for the dismal performance in Rajasthan. And I can assure you that I personally and my colleagues in Rajasthan will leave no stone unturned to make sure that we win back the people's trust and confidence. Even though I think next 5 years BJP will form the government, and I wish them the very best.
Okay, Professor Balla has a question for you.
Could it be, I mean, I think this is an important question, and you know, the Sadanand has also asked, could it be the economic policies of the centre over the last several years that has led to this debacle, whether it's in Delhi by the Aam Aadmi Party, or in Rajasthan, or in Madhya Pradesh, that it's not a factor of local incumbency, it's not a factor of local governance, it is a factor of national governance, which is filtered all the way down to the local level, or to the state level?
You know, I can't agree with you purely because we've had other elections. How come it didn't have any effect in Karnataka, or in Uttarakhand, or in Himachal Pradesh? To say they had in Rajasthan and Delhi but not in other states would perhaps be wrong. And I think our policies have been beneficial to the people. You can have your views on the economics of it and how you think is not proper for the country. But we've done everything we could in our power in the last 7-8 years to create that wealth, and now to be able to take those affirmative actions to the people who need it the most. But to my mind, that has to be more targeted, it has to be more productive, and whatever help we give to the people should reach the most deserving. And that's why we have UID and other technologies to make sure that people who deserve must get the goods of the government, and let the market forces decide how our country must move forward on the economic front as far as investments and job creation and economic policies are concerned.
Now, actually, I want to address this to Shazia. Are you taking any lessons from, if you will, the reasons for the Congress defeat, that it may not be indeed the rejection of Lokpal, but it could be the economic policies, and therefore what lessons do you learn about now that your party will be under strict scrutiny, and as part of the congratulations to your party having established itself so superbly, that maybe now you have to start thinking about what your economic policies are, or your recommended economic policies, or your views on economic matters?
Definitely, and somewhere where we say, sure, and somewhere when we have addressed the big issue of food inflation, we have also linked inflation with corruption and misgovernance and lack of accountability. So we have linked this, and we have shown this to the people that indeed, even with the funds and the plush funds, there is misgovernance, and there is absolutely no transparency in the way contracts are given. So I think some of these messages that we have given out with a lot of work done and a lot of research have gone very well with people, and I think it augurs well for any party to be more transparent, whether it's about the poll funding or about the processes whereby candidates are chosen, and also the way funds are allocated for projects, and the distribution of funds as well.
Sachin, Pilot and Shazia, let me just stay with me for a moment. The Aam Aadmi Party has been undeniably the darling of the nation today. The fledgling outfit snatched a lot of the attention that Narendra Modi and the BJP would have liked for themselves. The BJP, equally stunned by Kejriwal's big splash, cautiously offered credit for the saffron spike lay at Modi's door. But will the BJP be fully satisfied with how things played out? More importantly, what does this mean for the campaign heading into 2014 being fronted by the Gujarat Strong?